Greg's Leftovers.
Oh, I hope these are good. I hope these are good. It's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week, and as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll marinate Joe Mackey in olive oil and toss him into our wood-fired oven. All right. This week on CNN, Van Jones advised President Biden to stay hidden during the campaign, to which Joe responded, "Wow, a van that talks, just like that car in Knight Rider." During a speech this week, the president implied that Terry McAuliffe was the rightful governor of Virginia. But he later clarified his remarks, saying, "Glurg morph blaga flep." Yes, there you go. The publisher of Sports Illustrated announced they've laid off most of the staff. The worst part, they were all notified on their football phones. Remember those? They come with a subscription for people born before 1980. A new study finds that the trick to a great vacation for married people is to travel without your partner. Translation, the trick to a great vacation is not to be married. Scientists have discovered skeletons with the oldest DNA evidence of syphilis in Brazil. Wow, how did Hef get to Brazil? Funny, because he's dead. While appearing on a podcast, AOC claimed Trump voters are insecure about their masculinity. "Well, no wonder I'm voting for Biden," said Randy Weingarten. Still looks like Gary Shandling. This week, a Delta flight was grounded after one of the front wheels fell off. On the upside, the wheel was booked on the next flight to Fort Lauderdale with 2 free drink tickets. Good for them. California State Senator Scott Wiener has proposed a bill that would require vehicles from not going more than 10 miles per hour above the speed limit. Most states already have that. It's called a wife. Oh, sexist people. In Chicago, 47 migrants were arrested for retail theft and burglary. Well, at least they're assimilating. Dunkin' Donuts is being sued by 10 plaintiffs who are lactose intolerant for being charged extra for non-dairy milk. When reached for comment, the CEO of Dunkin' replied, "They can blow it out their ass." Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer was mocked for appearing in a sketch with a giant potato to pitch taxpayer-funded community college. "Hey, that was some of my best work," said one man. Oh, man. Democratic Congressman Jamal Bowman has proposed a $14 trillion reparations plan. He hasn't worked out the details yet. He just wants to sound the alarm. I feel dirty. Transgender golfer Haley Davidson is pushing back against critics of her wins on the Women's Pro Tour, claiming any strength advantage is negated by the extra time she spends at the ball washing machine.
Now that's good.
Little terrible. The San Antonio Zoo is offering hippo poop-scented candles for Valentine's Day. "I put a lot of work into those candles," said one hippo. Terrible people! How dare you clap? Applebee's has introduced a subscription plan that allows couples to have 52 date nights for only $200. That works out to $4 per meal spent regretting the man you married. An American Airlines flight was forced to turn around after one of the passengers farted excessively. But I say, why turn around? That would have been the perfect flight for the rest of us to get away with farting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Very interesting. And finally, earlier this week, the double Big Mac returned to McDonald's. In related news, so did Chris Christie. No! To the news! This is bad. Republican govs show Texas some love. Yep, 25 Republican governors signed a letter of support fully backing Texas in its fight against the federal government to protect the southern border, as the feds got the green light to take down razor wire meant to secure it. And to show support for the Lone Star State, they signed the letter using barbecue sauce. Quote, "We stand in solidarity with our fellow Governor Greg Abbott in utilizing every tool and strategy, including razor wire fences." Stand in solidarity. Poor choice of words, don't you think? They should have said, "Let's roll." I love him! I love him! But they rightly point out the Biden administration has left America, quote, "completely vulnerable to illegal immigration," and that Texas has every legal justification to protect its sovereignty. So 25 GOP govs support Texas, and predictably, not a single Democrat gov signed the statement. Perhaps they were too busy trying to find shelter for thousands of illegal immigrants. Or perhaps, to steal a word from the illegals, they lack the cojones. But independent presidential hopeful JFK Jr. lent his support for Texas, saying Biden's failure leaves states no choice but to take matters into their own hands. And a country without borders is not a country at all. So what's next? A civil war with Democrat versus Republican states? Millions could die, specifically the ones in Democrat states who will be stuck defending themselves with men's tampons and preferred pronouns. Please, don't shoot. I'm a they. Fact is, if Biden decides to attack the Alamo, he'd still manage to lose, even though it's a museum. So my money's on the GOP. They know how to chug beer, fire guns, and make sweet love to the music of Lee Greenwood. While Dems are only able to kill the American dream, late-night comedy, and innocent crew members on a film set. But all kidding aside, there is one upside to a civil war. At least this time, when the Army leaves billions of dollars of equipment behind, it will be in America.
Yeah.
A thoughtful, provoking way to end that comment, Kat. Kat, what would you do if you were president? And I know that's a fantasy, since you are a female.
Okay. Less.
Yes.
I would simply do less.
Right.
Such as not interfere with states' rights and that kind of thing. Okay, I know it's so unlike me to be cynical, but I can't help but notice this is a letter of Republican governors, which doesn't actually, do anything. Republicans, or anybody in Congress, actually, it could be as simple as if they didn't want Biden to do this, they could just not fund it. Congress so little actually, or so rarely does anything. We forget that they do have the power of the purse. They can simply say, that's how it's supposed to be set up. No, we're not going to fund that, so it's not going to happen. But we don't see anybody really moving to do that.
So don't fund the feds.
If they wanted to, on any issue, Congress can move to not fund the feds on something. Unless, of course, they just rather complain about it.
I just learned something here, and I've quickly forgotten it. What do you say, Dagan? Do you think that there's a possibility of a civil war? And if so, are you looking forward to it?
That's why you booked me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The accent.
Are you still in your militia? I mean, you're wearing a sleeveless shirt. All that's missing.
They're militias per state and region of state. Where do you want to start on the Civil War? We can go back to the Tariff of Abominations. It took years to get to the Civil War. I have a deep personal admiration for Governor Abbott and all the people who are standing with him, because when somebody comes knocking at my door when I'm blasting my Allman Brothers and tells me, too loud, I say, what are you going to do about it? You're going to come in and make me stop? And that's essentially what he is saying to Joe Biden. And it's so astonishing that Biden and his sad band of desperados, you talk about all the Democrats, that Biden has openly violated the laws of this country. And when someone tries to enforce them, they're like, no. We need more death, destruction, societal and financial hardship. We want people pouring across the border. So the only way to stop it at this point is for Biden to militarize the National Guard and go in and seize the border. Do you think he's stupid and dangerous enough to do that? So again, it's what are you going to do? Yes. So again, it's what are you going to do? Come in and stop me?
Yeah,
No,
exactly. It's like an amplified version of an episode of Cops. You know, the cops show up, knock on the door.
Yeah.
Dagan's plant, the Allman Brothers.
I feel bad for the people getting arrested on that show.
I do too. I always sympathize with the guy without the shirt on
I'm
trying
like,
to climb a
he's
fence.
just smoking a little crack.
Yeah.
Ow, ow, ow.
Doug, welcome to the show. I'm glad you wore pants.
Yeah, I have to. I didn't shave my legs today, that's why.
Yes, I was looking forward to seeing your legs.
Yeah,
but what do you make of this? I mean, Joe has gone from like calling half of America worthless to now maybe contemplating going into a state.
Listen, if he's not going to take care of the border, right, then the Texas guy, you know, Abbott, he's got to take care of himself. It's basically razor wire versus wire cutters. It's basically the law. And whoever's got more, the guy's got more razor wire for that thing, or they can cut it out. And I got to tell you, if the government wins this, Abbott's going to be defenseless.
Yeah.
Not going to have I thought about that. I stumbled on it, but...
No, I got it. It took me a while. Defenseless. That is a great title for like Ann Coulter's next book. Like it's like a conservative's book, and it's about the border, and it's defenseless, and somebody's on the cover like this.
Oh, always, yeah.
Always.
That's like, this is the like universal pose for I'm about ready to say some reactionary.
Speaking of, Julie.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Where does this all end? Is there going to be some kind of resolution, or do you think we're on the verge of civil war? Isn't this happening at an amazing time? 2024 is kicking off.
Yeah, this is a really bad time for Biden because he has screwed up so badly at the border, and these governors, more power to them, even though they have no power. You know, it is their U.S. constitutional right, the state of Texas, to defend itself. Obviously, this administration isn't doing jack about it. I think that they should go a step further. I thought the wall that Trump wanted to build was a bit unrealistic. I mean, there's eminent domain. You can't possibly build a wall across the entire border. These barbed wire fences, I think, are weak. I think they should go with like an electric fence. I hear those work well, like to contain the dogs in your yard so you keep them out. I also think they should hand out as like welcome gifts, like those ball washing machines that you showed earlier.
Well, we are giving free sex changes.
Yes.
So why not give the ball washing machine with the sex change?
That sounds like a great idea.
A swag bag, if you will.
Swag bag. Do you need collars with the electric fence?
This issue alone, I honestly do believe, is what is going to lose the election for Biden.
I think so, too.
He was supposed to assign his VP to figure out the crisis, the root of this, and she hasn't done a darn thing. Is he going to pick a new VP? Because she sucks.
I think they're going to have to replace both of them.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if he's going to run, she's not going to help him again.
We must move on to the next block, which means there is a break. Up next, would a world without journalists be bad?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.